What state was purchased for just 2 cents an acre?
Has 17 of the 20 highest peaks in the U.S.
And is home to the world's first museum dedicated exclusively to hammers.
Find out next on Sarah's Wiki Corner podcast.
It is time for Sarah's Wiki Corner today, brought to you by Niblik Foods and the Genesee Valley Regional Market. Sarah, what are we learning about today in your Wiki Corner?
Well, today is Alaska Day.
Is it really?
It is, because it's the anniversary of the formal transfer of territories in present-day Alaska from the Russian Empire to these United States, which occurred on Friday, October 18th, 1867.
See, sometimes Russia takes land and sometimes we take it.
That's right.
Did we
we
buy it?
We purchased it.
Well, that's all. That's
we did.
Different.
That's
then.
different.
It's different. But we could have taken it.
Well,
we
yes,
could have.
We could have. Right.
And we'd take it again.
So in March of 1867, the United States purchased Alaska from the Russian Empire for the tidy sum of $7.2 million, which seems low.
It does.
But it was in the 1800s, so it was different.
It's a lot of land, though. It's the biggest of the states.
Yes, and it works out to be less than 2 cents an acre.
That's pretty good.
That's a great deal.
That's
I don't know.
Imagine Connecticut would have gone for like a nickel.
Something, yeah.
I mean, nothing.
So Russia wanted to sell its Alaska territory, which was remote and difficult to defend, to the United States rather than risk losing it in a battle with a rival like Great Britain.
Oh, sure.
The deal to purchase Alaska was put together by Secretary of State William H. Seward, who was a proponent of U.S. expansion, but not everybody was happy with the move, with some nicknaming the territory Seward's Folly, or Seward's Icebox. Seward's Icebox.
Oh, Icebox.
Yeah.
That sounds nice. Yeah.
However,
I remember that from high school.
Yeah.
Sticking to my memory.
Wow.
Seward's Folly, I remember from high school.
Are you taking vitamins or something? Your memory's been like so much better.
If it was important stuff, I wouldn't remember it all, I promise.
But public opinion turned more favorable when gold was discovered there in 1899, sparking a gold rush and bringing thousands of miners and settlers to the territory.
So what did Seward say then? He turned to all his critics and he was
Told you so.
Let me see it now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Whose folly is it now?
Seward's what?
Yeah, right. So the area went through several administrative changes before becoming organized as a territory on May 11th, 1912, and it was admitted as the 49th state in January of 1959.
Yeah,
Today, 25% of America's oil and over 50% of its seafood come from Alaska.
Really?
It's also the largest state in area, which you mentioned. You knew that. About 1/5 the size of the lower 48 states combined.
Oh.
Though it remains sparsely populated.
Well, it's up there.
If it was an independent nation, it would be the 18th largest country in the world.
Wow.
Almost the same size as Iran.
Oh, if Iran. Okay.
So, yeah.
I'd still rather live in Alaska.
Right.
Even without a coat than live in Iran, though.
Yeah. With its myriad of islands, Alaska has nearly 34,000 miles of tidal shoreline, and that's more coastline than the other 49 states combined.
Wow.
17 of the 20 highest peaks in the United States are located in Alaska. The highest is Denali at 20,320 feet above sea level, making it the highest in all of North America. More than half of the state is federally owned land containing national forests, national parks, and wildlife refuges.
Okay.
Barrow, Alaska, which is 800 miles south of the North Pole, has the country's longest day and night. When the sun rises on May 10th, it doesn't set there for nearly 3 months. Yeah. And then when it sets on November 18th, Barrow's residents don't see the sun again for over 2 months.
Oh, my God.
Which, I mean, I think it's bad here when it gets dark at like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Sure, we have gray days all day.
But 2 months, man, I don't know if I could deal with that.
Wow.
Unsurprisingly, the state holds the U.S. record for coldest recorded temperature. That was a low of negative 80 degrees, which was recorded in Prospect Creek, Alaska, in January of 1971.
That thing I said about taking that with Alaska without a jacket.
Take that back? Yeah.
Take that back. Right. I still don't want to go to Iran. But.
Right. So the state flag of Alaska has 8 gold stars forming the Big Dipper and Polaris on a dark blue field, and the design was created by a 14-year-old named Benny Benson of Seward, Alaska, and was selected from among roughly 700 entries in a 1927 contest. And to celebrate his achievement, not only did his flag become the state flag,
Benny Benson,
but Benson was awarded $1,000, an engraved watch, and a trip to Washington, D.C.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's really something, because a
That's
trip
not
to
bad.
Washington, D.C. is a 6-hour bus ride.
From
But
Alaska.
from Alaska.
Right.
That's so what is it? So it was, how old was he, you said?
He was 14.
Benny Benson, 14, did the
Yeah.
Alaska flag.
Yeah.
The guy who drew the American flag,
Right. Also
like a kid.
student. Yeah.
What the heck is going on? Is that
Amazing.
what we're out? Kids just design all the flags.
I guess. I don't know.
Fair enough.
In the second half of the 20th century, Alaska discovered tourism as an important source of revenue.
Sure.
Tourism became popular after World War II when military personnel stationed there returned home praising its natural splendor.
Wow.
Tourism became increasingly important in Alaska, and today over 1.4 million people visit the state each year. And if you are a tourist there in Alaska and
Yeah.
you find yourself in the town of Haines, Alaska, you can visit the Hammer Museum.
The Hammer Museum.
Right, which is the first museum in the entire world dedicated to, you guessed it, hammers.
Wait, so you say the first, so there were others?
Apparently.
There's more than one
I guess maybe there's more. I don't know.
Hammer Museum.
But it features over 1,400 hammers and related tools, ranging from ancient times through the colonial days to the industrial era, and it still has 8,000 artifacts in storage. So,
Oh, all right. Ed
Yeah.
Smith got excited. He thought you were talking about MC Hammer
Not
Museum.
MC Hammer.
Different.
Actual
That'd be in
hammers.
Oakland. All right, you picked out a record to go along with Alaska, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to play North to Alaska by Johnny Horton.
It's really the only song that fits. Sarah,
It really
thanks so
is.
much.
You're welcome.
And the Wiki Corner brought to you today by Nib-Like Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market. No matter what you're making, they've got seasoning blends that'll make it better.
Yeah, and if you're doing any grilling this weekend, because it is supposed to be nice this weekend
Sure.
and next week,
Yeah.
they have a lot of great grilling and barbecue rubs and spices and sauces, and for anything you're grilling, whether you're grilling, veggies or chicken or whatever, anything. Steaks.
That's the thing. I always think of meats when I grill.
Yeah.
But people throw the veggies on there. They throw the
Absolutely.
potatoes on there. They got Bob's Potato Magic, which
Yep,
is
they sure do.
magical.
Yeah,
And your very own
And Sarah Boom Boom seasoning. Yeah, I can't forget about that.
is good on just about everything I've
Yeah,
heard.
it sure is.
Yeah, you should check that out. And tomorrow they've got hours, right? They're open.
Yeah,
at
they're
Nib-Like
open
Foods.
Saturday from 9 to 4, so stop in.
Stop in. See them, Nib-Like Foods, Genesee Valley Regional Market. The biggest hits in the history of the world. Legends 1027 and Johnny Horton there. It's North to Alaska. Sarah, do remind us, why did we just play that record?
Well, because we were talking about Alaska,
Yeah.
because it is Alaska Day.
It
when
is.
The formal transfer of territories happened.
The formal transfer.
Formal transfer of territories.
Sounds
yes.
lovely. Let's recap 3 things we must take away from today's Wiki Corner. You ready?
I am.
Go.
All right. Alaska was purchased from Russia for less than 2 cents an acre.
If Alaska was an independent nation, it would be the 18th largest country in the world.
And Alaska has more coastline than the other 49 states combined.
Now, you mentioned that the tourism in Alaska picked up after the war.
Yeah.
WW2.
Yes.
Of course. I wonder if they were surprised that tourism picked up, because usually you think of tourism and you think either of like historic cities like in Europe, or you think of islands like, the Caribbean, things like that, Florida, stuff like that. And then there's Alaska, which is like rural and mountainous.
Hard to get,
and
not easy to
rugged.
get to.
Exactly.
Right.
And I wonder if people were surprised back then that it became such a haven. But it is
Probably.
it's a popular stop for cruisers.
Yeah, very popular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Folks want to learn more about Alaska, Sarah, where do they go? What do they do?
Well, you can go to my wiki blog. If you go to legends1027.com on the homepage, there's a link that takes you to my blog where I post everything I talk about every day.
It's all there. Plus, it's on Facebook as well, facebook.com/legends1027. And we archive all of this stuff up on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search Sarah's Wiki Corner for the archive of the Wiki Corner right there. It's all brought to you by Nib-Like Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market. Have a great weekend, Sarah.
You too.
Will you please come back on Monday, do it all again?
I think I can make that happen.
Different topics, though, if you could.
Yes.
Starting on Monday,
for sure.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
All right, traffic and weather next on Legends 1027.